Hi, I'm Patricia Allingham Carlson, and this is an end-to-end video in 8 parts of my painting Mount Gretna Home. In episode 3, I get in and begin to define the stairs. I also start the big front tree which blocks half the house, and I also detail the flowers on the stairs. It's just the beginning. There's lots more flowers to go. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to see more. Now let's paint. Doing more work on foliage, laying down my spray, and blocking it off with my hand, so it'll only go where I want it to go. I don't want it to run into the other colors and cause them to run, because this painting is going together in bits and pieces. This is the ivy climbing the house. I forgot I had a bit of roof showing over there, so I just filled it in quickly, darkening this part of this roof. And I'm trying to keep my edges pretty tight so that I can continue to suggest the architecture. Now I noticed another flower box that was sticking out from behind the chimney, so I am putting that in. I like that color, so I decided to use it some more down in the bottom. And yet another flower box up on the very top window. First I put the flowers in, then I'm coming in with the leaves. Now this was in a shaded part of the side of the house, so the leaves are dark. The flower box right by the chimney was brightly lit, so I made a much lighter leaf there. There's some pretty heavy masking on this painting. I'm painting in between the little holes and crevices in the masking. But when I take it out, or take all this masking off, there's going to be a lot of work to do to incorporate all those whites into the rest of the painting in a natural way. This bushy thing on the side of the house on the left also has a lot of masking on it. You'll see an awful lot of little dots of white in the background, in the bushes, in the flowers. And I deliberately took this particular approach because I liked the way all the whites would sparkle in the leaves. It felt light and airy, and it felt like it made The leaves and the flowers look more luminous. When you have strong sunlight on foliage, you do have bright little shiny spots where the leaves are reflecting the sunlight totally. Not one super tight, super traditional, realistic painting. And now I'm tackling the banisters and the structure of the stairs. The structure of the home is mostly laid out. And there were 2 sets of stairs coming down from this building. Everything was covered with flowers and plants, and yet the banisters showed, and a little bit of the spokes coming down from the railings as well. Having some order in all the chaos of the plants seemed to add structure to the painting, and I liked it. There is masking on the top of the railings, so I could catch where the light was bouncing off the top and add some additional structure with dark and light. So the underside of each banister is dark and the top will be much lighter. Because of all the plants sitting on the steps, these railings only showed here and there. And I'm literally looking at my photograph as I work and just painting what I see. I had just decided to make this supporting structure over here on the porch very dark. And dark enough to stand out against the shadowed colors that I put in underneath the porch. I turn the page and the whole paper around so that I can paint straight lines in a way that's more natural to me. It works for me. I'm a left-handed person, as you can see. You might have your own ways of painting straight lines. As a right-handed person, I don't know. But this works for me. This is the dark leaves showing through the banisters. This is also the shadows on the darker side of all the pots of plants. So I'm using a green tone mixed with indigo. And here we're seeing the shadowed side of the house showing through. This central tree bushy thing coming up in front of the house took up a lot of space, gave a rather strong definition and dimension to the whole painting. So I decided I better block it in and get it marked out as to where exactly it was. The sunlit side, again, I'm using bright, light green colors and yellows. While they're wet, I'm coming in with shadows to suggest the forms. And if you see, I'm not painting straight, I'm dotting in the colors. If you paint this way and your paper is not entirely wet, you will get some separation of the colors and they won't all just run together. And that's what I like about the spray mister. It makes little dots of water. Everything doesn't run together, and you can get the suggestion of form without overdoing it. But I am actually making small dots and dashes of color and not just painting in with strokes. Doing a little negative painting right now. Some of the plants had some different leaves. So I'm painting around where the lighter leaf forms will go with a darker color. Something important to do with your greens and your leaves is to use different shades of green. If everything is the same shade, it can get a little monotonous. So I mix greens with burnt sienna, orange, yellow ochre, all sorts of blue, brown. The opposite color of green, of course, being red, you'll get a dull green. If you want a bright green, yellow is an obvious choice. And purple and green make a lovely shade as well. So I highly recommend mixing your shades of green so that they vary a lot. You'll get a lot more interest in your painting. Every plant has its own unique color. And of course you can make up your own colors and do whatever you want as well. Now my hope is where I've masked and put masking fluid in all these big pots of green plants will allow me to have some nice clean areas to put bright colored flowers. So I'm adding the greens, and when the masking comes off, I'll be putting a lot more flower color on. You could see my blue-green, and you could see my orangey green. Now the ivy had a very bluish green tone, so I'm trying to make the light side of the ivy a pale blue-green. So it would stand out from where the plant colors of the leaves are. The ivy ran all along the porch roof line, up the house, up to the roof, up the chimney. And just in case the whole house in leaves and foliage and flowers. It was quite a sight. Oh, I'm putting some flowers into the plant sitting on the steps. Trying to concentrate my reds so it'll be nice and bright, but I will most likely be adding several more coats and layers of bright colored flowers as they fade with being wet and then drying. If the plants and greens were all light, they would again get boring. I'm adding strong contrast with very dark colors. Now you can see how the dark greens are giving a lot more structure to all the blobby, undefined painting or plants that are sitting on the staircase. Hoping you enjoyed this video and that you learned something too, as well as me learning something. I appreciate your likes, and please do subscribe. If you click on the bell and select all, you'll get a ring whenever I post a new video. Your comments are always welcome, and I will see you soon with a new end-to-end painting. So don't forget to subscribe.